How are we doing, everybody? Sports Ball Talk is now live. Ben Collins with you, along with Rob Doyle, recapping Super Bowl 60, which took place this past weekend in Santa Clara, California. The final, the Seattle Seahawks winning 29-13 in what could quite possibly be a pretty mid Super Bowl. I wouldn't put it near the bottom of the list. There's definitely been worse, but there has definitely been better. And with that, we will go into our first segment of the day, talking about Drake Maye's performance. Rob, go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I mean, you talk about Drake Maye and his performance on Sunday. You start with could be better, right? You know, he definitely could have played a lot better than what he did. However, I don't think his play or the lack of good play is not entirely on him. I think the question should be placed on Josh McDaniels and his head coach Mike Vrabel on what was the game plan coming into the week. It seems like when they got on the field, they just seemed like they were out schemed. It felt like they were always unprepared the entire time, and that, frankly, Drake Maye didn't seem ready for the moment. And part of that is on him, but part of that is on his coaching staff.
You got to look at it like this, okay? You're playing against a very good team in the Seattle Seahawks, one of the best defenses in the country. They needed to run the ball and you rely on their defense, which is, again, one of the best defenses in the NFL as well. They didn't do that. They wanted to try and throw the ball, get the ball out in space, do all these different things. It didn't work. It clearly did not work. And Drake Maye, 2 interceptions, had the scoop and score pick six, whatever they called it, for a touchdown that put the game away for the Seahawks. And from my account, Drake Maye, yes, there are some things that was on the coaching staff, but he did not play his best game on Sunday, and it resulted in a massive loss for the Patriots. And overall, I just thought he definitely could have played better. And it kind of seems like it mirrored his playoff performances throughout the entire playoffs. He looked like a game manager. He did not look like a quarterback that was ready for the playoffs and was dominating like people thought he should have been the MVP. He wasn't.
All right, now wait a minute.
Look at his playoff performances and tell me I'm wrong.
Look who he played against. He played against the Houston Texans, which is a top 5 defense in the NFL. The Denver Broncos, another top 5 defense in the NFL. The Broncos in some of the worst conditions I've ever seen, snow falling everywhere.
The Broncos had Jared Stidham. It was Jared Stidham.
Does Jared Stidham play on defense? No, he doesn't. The Broncos had an incredible defense. Yes, Drake Maye didn't play great, but he did enough to win the game. I mean, what are we talking about here?
His defense did enough to win the game.
And so did he.
He scored 10 points. All he did was sit there and hand the ball off.
Against a fantastic defense, yeah. I mean, that's sometimes
all I'm talking about is him being an MVP caliber quarterback. He is not.
I mean, listen, I agree that Matthew
Look at who
Stafford
they played in the regular season.
Oh, we're going to go regular season stats. Regular season schedule.
Look at their schedule.
Man, come
Everybody
on.
that they played. No, it's not that. Everyone that they played was bad. About every team they played was bad, except for Buffalo. And Buffalo beat them at least once.
So every player in the NFL gets paid. They get paid to be there, right? They're
not
just there to volunteer. So you can't discredit the quality of his opponents. He doesn't pick his opponents. All right, he plays who's in front of him. And talk about Matthew Stafford. He had a loss to the Carolina Panthers. That's a pretty rough loss considering that they were one and done. So I don't know, man. I think Drake Maye, yes, could have played better, but his coaching staff, they're the real issue in Super Bowl 60.
Now we got to move on to the offensive line for the Patriots. And my goodness, was that an atrocious effort all the way around. I believe it was 7 sacks that they gave up. Will Campbell, the first-round draft pick for the Patriots, wow. That's all I got to say is wow. I mean, he looked lost in space going up against these defensive ends. He gave up so many pressures, and it was just not a good performance by a first-round draft pick that you expect to be a multi-time Pro Bowler, all-pro level player. And I feel like he didn't play well. The whole offensive line didn't play well. I could have played better in that game.
Okay.
I definitely could have played better.
Listen, you're going to notice a common theme when I say here. The coaching staff failed to prepare their offense. All right, yes, they did give up 6 sacks. Yes, there were some plays. Will Campbell got walked back into the lap. Same thing with the whole line. But if you look at some of the key pressures in the game, they were stunts, they were blitzes, they were overloading one side, and the O-line couldn't get it sorted out. If looking at the resume of the Seattle Seahawks, they've done this all year. Mike Macdonald's done this with the Ravens before he got to Seattle. He's done this in Seattle all year, looping Witherspoon, looping his defenders. If your O-line isn't ready for it, that's a coaching issue. That is, frankly, a coaching issue. You had 2 weeks to get prepared for it.
You back up everybody and give deep sets. It gives everything time to sort out. Everything sorts out eventually. You can't.
It didn't look like it. They didn't let anything sort out. At
They
that point
got.
in time.
They
Yeah.
also need to communicate. You barely
true.
saw any communication, and you see these guys.
Saw-
they're all
saw
looking around.
communication. What you want to see
They're
them
all
move
putting their hands up like this.
You
Like
want to
what
see them
happened?
move their lips underneath their face mask? Are you serious? You can't see that, man. You can't see that. I'm just saying.
You gotta be. There's no such thing as over communication as an offensive lineman.
100%
You have
agree.
to. You have to talk.
But where does
you
it
had 2
start?
weeks to prepare for this game? You
That's
had 2
correct.
weeks.
That's my
to
point.
Sit there
I
and
agree.
get everything down. And
Yeah,
yes, it
I
falls on the
agree.
coaches. It falls on the players just as much. They
Yes.
have to prepare. They have to watch
It
film.
does fall on the players, but it starts from the top. You got to over communicate all this stuff. Hey, they like to send four. Here's our rules for that, right? And I think part of that, I know it's took up for Drake May a little bit. It's on Drake May too. We have to get the protection set up front before we get the ball snapped. The protection was not set. But on the bigger question is, if we have 3rd and long, we're going empty. They know we're blitzing, and he did it twice. And both times, it resulted in a pressure, and they kept on doing that. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Coaching staff should have pivoted from that, keeping an extra guy to protect since you clearly were being overwhelmed by the blitzes.
You're dishing on Josh McDaniels like he doesn't have 4 Super Bowl rings as an offensive coordinator for the Patriots with Tom Brady.
Wait, yeah. Who's his quarterback again?
Okay, but
Who?
you
Tom Brady? Wait, the greatest
is
quarterback
Tom
of all
is
time?
Tom Brady one person? Did he win all those Super Bowls single-handedly? No.
No, he didn't. I won't say
He
that.
relied on defense. He had a really, really solid offensive line. He had good receivers.
Well,
he had
but
all these
was
different
his
things.
offensive line good, or did he make his offensive line better by getting the ball out of his hands quickly?
And that falls once again on Drake May.
I guess, man.
And
I guess so.
we got to go back now and talk about the game as a whole. Was it entertaining or not? What do you have?
I mean, I'm a big football nerd, so I'm going to say yes. All right, style makes fights. All right, and these are 2 of the best defenses in the NFL going at it. 2 offenses that we've seen perform at a high level, and we saw Mike McDonald do a great job coming out there and just out scheming them, right? And that was entertaining to watch from a football perspective. Continuously watching the Seahawks defense, figure out ways to stop this Patriots offense, and vice versa, the Patriots offense finding ways to stop this overpowered Seahawks offense. So I think it was a really entertaining game to watch from a football standard of just watching 2 good teams go back and forth.
You look at from a football standpoint, we also got to look at it like this from a casual fan who's just going to sit there, watch the game, maybe the only game they watch all year. When Jason Myers, the kicker for the Seahawks, is up for debate to be the Super Bowl MVP by scoring 17 points, he alone outscored the Patriots offense.
Yeah.
That is a recipe for a less than stellar Super Bowl. Also, given the fact that Seattle offensively had 1 touchdown, they relied on their defense. Yes, had another touchdown defensively, but the Patriots, despite losing this game 29-13, they outscored Seattle's offense throughout this game. Seattle was able to move the ball, get in field goal range, things like that, but they couldn't punch it in. And you look at it like that, it relies heavily, and you're still dissing on Josh McDaniels. He was able to put the ball in the end zone more times than Mike McDonald, and his offense could.
Wait, so when did they score? Did they score like when it mattered, or did they score when the game was already out of reach, like in the 4th quarter in garbage time?
Both teams scored 4th quarter in garbage time.
Whoa. The Seahawks was not in garbage time. They got a big-time touchdown to extend the lead and really create a comfortable cushion. All right, the Patriots scored, and it was after Drake May had thrown 1 interception, whatever. The other interception was mind-boggling. I mean, there's just no
Where are you
shot
throwing
that
that
guy was
football?
Open. Yeah, right. I mean,
You can't throw it there.
Yeah, no, there was nobody. There was no shot that any of his receivers could have caught that. Those touchdowns were scored in garbage time. For most of the game, McDaniels, the offense, they were shut down. They had nothing going on, and it was impressive to watch McDonald kind of scheme this
They
offense
couldn't run the
up.
ball.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Kubiak.
You got 2 great running backs. You couldn't run the ball. Ramondre Stevenson and Trayvon Henderson. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, your
but
guy
they
from Ohio State.
Yeah,
man.
they couldn't run the ball. They could not run the football.
No.
And again, it falls on the offensive line. They did not play well in the run game either. They couldn't get anything going. And Seattle, Kenneth Walker ran the ball very, very well. Reason for being the Super Bowl MVP. But again, he did not look like at times that he could really get away. And yes, as the game went on, he was starting to break big runs, had a touchdown and got called back. But again, Seattle's offensive line, did they play the best? No, but much better than the Patriots.
I mean, we'll talk about volume, and I know we're over, but I'm just saying, let's think about it, all right? Stevenson had 7 carries. Henderson had 6 carries. Do you think your 2 best running backs in the biggest game of the year should only have 13 touches combined?
That
Kenneth
revolves on the
Walker
coaches again.
Exactly. Kenneth Walker had 27 carries. That volume helped him out, but I don't know.
Yes, it did. But with that, overall, the 60th Super Bowl coming to a close, another NFL season coming to a close, I could safely say, for as good as the playoffs were, this was a very disappointing Super Bowl, 29-13 with Seattle winning. Good to see the Seahawks, being by far the best team in the NFL, getting a Super Bowl win and, just extending the fact that all throughout the playoffs they were known as the best team in the NFL, and they certainly proved that. And just an overall phenomenal season from a team that missed the playoffs a year ago. Both teams, actually.
Absolutely.
With that, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Sports Ball Talk Live. Everyone, have a great day.